And what up, y'all? We're back with another show. Y'all are going to love this one, and it's something that I try to touch up on a lot because I see the state of masculinity here in 2025. Yes, I see the state that men are in right now, young boys are in right now, young men are facing. I see the state that they're facing, and that is one of the reasons why I decided to start this channel. It was so that we can speak up against those things that are holding young men back. Yes, I believe that young men are being held back for a reason. Why? I cannot tell you, but I can definitely say that masculinity has been under attack for quite a while now. And you have to think about it. If you're going to say that masculinity is in danger, then what can you say about its counterpart? Can you say that its counterpart, femininity, is what is endangering masculinity? That's a good question, isn't it? But today, we are going to dive deeper into this conversation on the Valuetainment show, where some of the panelists sat down for a discussion about masculinity and why it's in danger. Now, I find this discussion to be very intriguing because you have, I believe, about 4 or 5 women on the panel and 1 man. And you are hearing it from the women's lips as to why men are not doing some of the things that they used to do anymore. Why men are not as chivalrous as they used to be anymore. Is chivalry dead? Why masculinity is in the decline? Why a lot of men now do not have the testosterone it takes for them to actually be masculine. And when I say masculine, I'm talking about leading. I'm talking about being assertive. I'm talking about going out there and slaying the dragon. Y'all know the famous phrase. I use it because that explains a man's life on a day-to-day basis. We go out into the world and we slay the dragon. Now, everyone knows it's not easy defeating a dragon, is it? You've seen all the movies, but before we get into the video, I need y'all to do 3 things for me. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share this video so someone else can do the very same thing. And if they don't, then we're going to send the Valuetainment panel after them. Without further ado, let's get into this video because I'm curious to know what these young ladies had to say about masculinity being dead.
Thanks to Anna pointing this out to me. That there's strong emerging evidence Gen Z is indeed less sexually active, dating less compared to previous generations.
Yes.
What's going on, guys?
So many things.
Okay, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. But first, let me set it up and give you the deets. Okay, what's going on? So
can we go past the? Can we go over?
We can if you can, Doc.
Yeah, I go over. Yeah.
So there have now been multiple studies indicating that young men, and I'm talking about the ages
can we
when
do
they're
it
like
point by point as you're bringing these things up. Can I address them as you bring them up?
Sure.
So each of these things have layers to them.
They do.
Young
So
men.
I'm going to give you
first. Let's talk about that.
We're going to talk about young men first, and this has to do with their sexual activity.
Yes.
So
You need to find young so we can.
yes, I am.
Good point.
So let me do it uninterrupted so I can get it out. Okay. So Indiana University, for instance, did a study, and they found in their study of men between the ages of 18 to 24. So we're talking about the time when they like really want to get it on, usually, right?
Yes.
Only 1 in 3 of them reported no sexual activity in the past year. 1 in 3.
Yeah.
So 1/3 of young men in that age group, no sex at all.
Yes.
And I want to know why.
What's the comparison point? Like what happened 20 years ago?
What was it?
Yeah, 20 years ago, what was the rate?
I don't know the comparison rate.
I promise it was higher 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior, the study is the first to include such a comprehensive assessment of diverse sexual behaviors. The information came from U.S. participants ages 14 to 49 during 2009.
14 to 49.
Yeah.
2009?
No, between 2009 and 2018. So this is a long-term study that they did.
So, and by the way, it's worse since COVID.
Yes.
COVID
Okay.
made it
Oh
worse.
yeah, completely.
Yes. So there have been other studies showing that this was even more pronounced after COVID.
What's the mechanism there?
Really, before you go,
Many.
doctor, can I just say one quick thing?
Please.
I blame feminism. Listen, Tinder just put out a height filter. What I can say about this
Girl,
dating
that is
market
not feminism.
is
Women hating on the short kings is not
but
feminism.
women believing that they should be empowered enough that they can create their own custom-built men, that they deserve everything, don't need to work for anything, whereas men, they need to build up their income, their body, their physique,
Their height.
their personal development. That's the one thing they can't build up, right? This dating market is totally rigged for women. And I think that's why guys aren't getting laid.
But Benny Johnson said this to me, and then I'm going to stop talking because I definitely want to hear from Dr. Drew, but he's like, the world was a better place when men had a harder time seeing boobs. And I kind of wonder.
Okay,
But anyway, okay, go.
my bad.
That's another layer to it. That their men are just
Too much porn.
So let me just
that is my question.
Let me quickly clarify the study, okay? Because it wasn't a long-term study. My bad, I misread this. So they did the study in 2009, and then they did the same study in 2018. Yes. So to compare, and this is what they write. So they say, compared to adult participants in the 2009 survey, adults in the 2018 group were significantly more likely to report no penile vaginal intercourse in the prior year, the researchers found. Study participants were also significantly less likely to report engaging in any other sexual behaviors, such as oral sex or, other things.
Anything, yeah.
All modes of past year partnered sex were reported by fewer in the 2018 cohort. So it is a growing problem.
Oh yeah, and so we know birth rates are plummeting, right?
Right.
So people are not forming pairs, they're not falling in love, they're not having sexual encounters. There's some data that shows that the apps are leaving a 5 or 10% zone of men that are having lots of sex, and they're the ones that
Super
are
users,
and they're actually hurting people. They're hurting women. And women I hear a lot from women, where are the men? Where are all the
There's
men?
a term for that.
There's
They're
no
called
men.
fuckboys.
Well, you
Literally,
have vilified being a man. You have vilified it. I have been around the Gen Z and the millennials for quite some time. And what I saw was men fearful of being seen as toxic or trying to rape. They just withdrew. And God help you if you offer a girl a beer.
I'll take the beer.
I would.
I'm a married
I have a friend
woman.
that got kicked out of 2 bars in New York for buying women drink. 2 different bars.
Are you serious?
It's considered predatory.
Wow.
So men are scared shitless. They don't know what to do. Then because they're withdrawing so much, they first of all don't feel worth. They're being told they're not worthwhile. They're particularly young white men are told they're bad, they're evil, they're the source of all problems. And they don't develop the skills necessary to
communicate.
communicate,
sad.
to determine what they want to do. And they turn to porn.
I was going to ask you
And
that.
the porn gives them unrealistic expectations about everything.
Oh, yeah.
And they sort of take the position like, I'm fine, I got my porn, I'm fine. And for the first time, I did a show called After Dark for a few years over at your mom's house. And I started hearing from young men, something I had not heard all these decades talking to young men, the use of prostitutes. They were starting to turn to prostitutes.
Wow.
Because they had no other option.
Do
And
you
not only
think
that, but OnlyFans, because
Yo, young man, I know what you're going through. Every man knows what you're going through. We go through it in different stages. We go through it at different ages. We go through it because you're not always up. You're not always up. You have to know that. You are not always up. You have to start from the bottom. That's where most people start at. Unless you were born with a silver spoon, you start out from the bottom. And what happens is, as a man, you must work your way up. See, this is something that they don't tell you. A man is not born with his worth. You're not. You have to build onto your worth. So, if you are 18 right now, and let's say you get to be about 30, and your peers are doing the very same thing that you are doing right now at 18, but you have graduated, then guess what? You have built value onto yourself. You have placed that value onto yourself, and you only get value through hard work. I'm going to repeat that for y'all. You only get value through hard work as a man. Period. Every man has to work for it. And so they are telling us that a majority of men are not getting laid. They're not having sex at all. A majority of men. This is the reason why the birth rate is so low. Yes, a certain percentage of men are having babies, are having kids with different women. So these women are having kids with the same 10% of men. And the other men are not even having sex. And so the birth rate is definitely at its lowest that it's ever been. You are hearing all of this from doctors as well. Well, I can't tell you if he's a real doctor or not, but no, I actually know who he is though. But you're hearing this from professionals who are telling you that most men are not having sex at all. But women seem to think that, oh, every man is out here just slinging it. Yes, women actually think that every man is out here just slinging it. Why do y'all think this? Because it's not true. A majority of men are not having any type of sexual intercourse, which is exactly why you have sites like OnlyFans as being popular. That's the reason why the OnlyFans models are making as much money as they're making. Because once you are not getting any play from women, once you are not getting laid, once you don't even get any attention from women, guess what you will gravitate towards? Yes, the corn industry, OF. Yes, it fills that void, that loneliness that a man has. A lot of men are lonely. Most men are sitting, and I say most because most are sitting in their rooms tonight with no companionship at all. They don't even have a woman that they can call to speak to, or a woman that will come over to see them. Yes, a lot of men are lonely, but do you know what they do? Just like he said, I just posted a video about a young lady that went into a Whole Foods and a guy came up to her. He thought she was attractive. He came up to her, just sparking up conversation about some conditioner, some shampoo or something like that. Something that he doesn't even care about. But guess what she does in return, right? She goes on to social media and she puts him out there. She doesn't tell exactly who it is, but you get the gist of it. So she basically wanted to humiliate him. If she could plaster his picture all over her video, I guarantee you she would. But this is what men are dealing with now. You can't even go to a bar and buy a woman a drink without it being predatorial. Do you see what I am saying? This is exactly why men are doing what? They're going their own way. They are falling back. The ladies, y'all don't understand the type of picture that y'all are painting right now until it's finished. And all you see in that frame is you.
Fans, especially in today's generation, young women are literally getting excited to turn 18 so they can create an OnlyFans because they are seeing other women out there portray this lifestyle. And you know why they're oftentimes portraying it? Because there are affiliate programs attached to OnlyFans where if you recruit other women, you make a buck
pyramid scheme.
off of what they make.
Terrible.
It's a pyramid scheme for
Where
sex.
are the parents?
This is the
I
prostitution
have the
aspect
answer
is becoming
to
more
that
and more
question.
normalized. And it's not just that. They're not only buying these women's pictures, but then their managers are messaging them, building parasocial relationships with these men.
The parasocial relationship thing, it's huge.
It's sick.
So Dr. Drew, one last question, because I hear you in regard to culture and how that's changed and how that impacts, relationships in America. I am also curious about the impact of social media and how increasingly people aren't actually meeting with their friends in real life, communicating face to face. So when you 100%. Don't have that, there's like a difficulty in communicating when you're trying to, seduce someone into a relationship.
All of it speaks of no experience, no skill.
Right.
I remember back in the 90s, I used to be, the hookup culture was the big thing. And I kept saying, you're not happy doing this, I can tell, because you're always drunk when you do it. And I was advocating dating, where you just sit down, enjoy time with somebody, learn who you are, learn who to break bread, whatever. Don't have all these expectations on every time you go out with somebody. That needs to come back again. That people need to hang out in person, in flesh with people a lot, and just enjoy that and develop a skill and start to figure out who you are, what you want, and who other people are. But this vilification of the young male has gone out of control. And they're pissed. And I'm worried when they come out of it that they're.
I have a confession,
Adam said
like
the same thing.
a big confession. Okay, so look, every woman is different. So I don't speak for all women.
You don't?
I don't. But I also have a problem with like some women, who have engaged in that, rhetoric in regard to men, kind of speaking on my behalf, because I'll just talk about my preference. My preference is masculine men, like traditionally masculine men. That's what I'm just attracted to. I can't explain why. It just is what it is. So this like push to make men meek is unfair to women who don't want meek men either.
I don't know
Well,
any women who truly want that,
very
Dr.
few
Drew.
people
In fact,
want
from
that.
an evolutionary perspective, the
Doesn't make sense.
masculine guy
Right.
thing, I remember
Like if I'm on a train or if
So-
I'm on the metro and there's someone who's threatening my safety and there's a bunch of men there and they just kind of sit back and let it happen, that's a freaking problem in
But
society.
the thing is,
That's right.
there's a huge demographic, to your point, who does celebrate wife guys, right? Like, remember how they elevated 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗻𝗃 because he was all feminine and happy to be behind Kamala Harris? You remember that?
Well, they do it for women
no one's
too,
hot for
though.
Doug Emhoff,
they
though,
have
What I
in real
mean
life.
is, that's the kind of man
That's a
one-
psyop, Doug Emhoff.
I mean, look at
No one is hot for Doug Emhoff.
That's not what I'm saying. Is that's what they're celebrating as the archetype. And Dr. Drew, since you're here, I want to bring a medical component into this,
Okay.
and that's the use of 𝗵𝗵 and finasteride.
Yep.
I was going to ask you that.
is that
Could it
birth
be
control?
plummeting
So-
testosterone levels?
So
Hair stuff.
here are the
Right.
It
things.
blocks androgens, which I'll let the doctor do
So
this.
𝗵𝗵 and all these medicines do drop testosterone.
And millions of
and
men
they
are on
drop
it.
libido. And in about 20% of cases, it never comes back.
Oh God.
So when that was documented about 10 years ago, I had to call all my patients on 𝗵𝗵 and say, "Do you still want to continue?" Most of them did.
But
I would.
What about this?
So-
What about this piece
It never
too?
comes back?
There were
20%.
some reports
10,
that when
20%.
women take birth
Hold on, hold
control, it
Also,
actually alters the type
it
of
can
men
go-
that they are attracted
or-
to. They are attracted to
Yep.
more beta,
Or it
feminine
drops their
males.
sex
Tell
drive.
me how to fix this finasteride problem. I need to know.
Social media, definitely. It definitely has had a great impact on dating and relationships. We know this because everyone is doing what? They're looking for something better. Everyone's looking for something better. No one is satisfied anymore. Because now when you're satisfied, what do they say you are? You're complicit. You're settling. They always say you're settling whenever you're satisfied with something. And so no one is satisfied with anything anymore because no one wants to be known for settling. And so the grass is always greener on the other side. You may have something good right here, but guess what? The grass is always greener on the other side. Or so you think until you climb over that fence and it's brown like shit. And then what? You can't climb your ass back over. And that's what's been going on with dating and relationships now. That's why no one is getting in relationships, as they stated. That's why men are not getting married anymore. Nobody's spending time with each other anymore. Why? Because we have these screens that everyone sits behind and they can be somebody else. They can be somebody different. Not to mention, if you are one of these men that is not getting any play, not getting any action, not getting laid, not having sex with any women, guess what? It allows you to sit behind this screen and beat someone else too and beat off to a female on OF. Yes, it allows you to do this in the privacy of your own home. It's all about convenience. And so relationships are not going to be convenient anymore. These screens are going to be more convenient. And that's why dating apps have taken off like they did, even though most of them are trash and they promote the trashiest culture. They actually do. I'm sorry. If you've ever been on one of them, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The truth is the truth, right? That's why there's a unsuccessful rate on these apps. You don't get a lot of people who say they successfully met someone and they successfully got married and created a family. And that's another thing that is affecting us now as a society, as a people. People are just meeting, hooking up. You'll meet on the site, hook up, and then you go your own way. No one wants to create anything anymore. Families are not being created anymore. Everyone is living separately. Everyone's living separately. Think about that. All your friends live by themselves. Think about that. None of them are married, are they? Think about that. And all of this leads back to what? What we are being pushed and force-fed. It's the trash that men, as young boys, start getting. That's why they're going after your kids. That's why they go after the kids when they're younger. Because once you can brainwash a boy into thinking that being masculine vilifies him, makes him a villain, it's toxic, then guess what? He's going to grow up thinking that he should not be masculine. And then you end up with the byproduct of men that we have today. I need y'all to know something. Masculinity is in trouble. It is. Today, I can tell you that there are not a lot of men out here who will defend a young woman. I'm sorry, ladies, there's not. That's just the facts. Not a lot of men will defend y'all. Not a lot of men will go to bat for you. Because for years now, y'all have been telling men that y'all are equal to us and that y'all can do whatever we can and that you don't need a man. And so when the man sees you struggling, guess what happens? That man does not feel obligated to help you at all because of what you have told him. The same thing with the sexual revolution. Men and women are equal sexually, right? Right. That's what you think. But I'm not even going to get deeper into it. Just know that when a woman does sleep with several different partners, those partners leave a piece of themselves in her. Look it up if you don't believe me. But this is what y'all have been telling us forever. Forever now. This is why men do not approach you in public and men will not approach you in public in the future. It's going to get a lot worse. Trust me when I tell you, with the advancement of AI, it's about to get really bad out here. The singleness is going to be an epidemic. Watch what I tell y'all. It's going to get worse. Matter of fact, you're not even going to see a lot of men outside anymore. With the advancement of AI, remember I told y'all this. Remember the visual creatures that we are and what AI can create for you right now as we speak. Just think about that. You will not see a lot of men outside anymore. It's going to get a lot worse, ladies. Trust and believe. If you want to have a child, it's going to be hard for you. Which now, it's easy, right? Well, give it 10 years. Give it 10 years. You're going to be begging a man to have a child with you. Why? Because masculinity is in the decline. Until next time.
If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.